What up, everybody? I'm your what the fuck?
Whoa, you're the co-host now?
Yeah.
I'm the host, Josh. He's the co-host for
Yeah.
this one.
I am the co-host, JP.
Welcome back to the FilmBros podcast.
All right, go ahead, host.
Oh, word. We're talking about Blue Beetle. No, I'm gonna let you take it away. You're closer to the computer.
Oh, well, now that we found out that Josh is not cut out to be the host, I am your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
You guys already know us, but for the new people that are coming into this podcast that don't know us, hello, we welcome y'all. We thank y'all for taking time out of your day to listen to us. As always, there's always new episodes out right now for you guys because, if this is the first time you're listening, they're new to you. So go check those out. If you guys want to interact with us, if you guys got a movie that you guys want us to review, a topic that you guys want us to discuss on this podcast, a video that you guys want us to react to, if you guys want to support us in a big way, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts. That's Spotify, that's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, things like that. Anywhere you get them, we're on a bunch of sites. So go listen to our older episodes there and newer episodes. When it's all said and done, subscribe to our Buzzsprout page. That helps us grow, and subscribers get special perks and all the things that come with that. Help us out there. Appreciate it.
Yes. But we're here to discuss the newest lows of WBD, the WB squad, DC, if you will. I don't know who's pushing out this narrative, but whoever it is, I'm going to have to ask you guys to stop it. Stop it right now. Hold some composure.
What are they doing?
Blue Beetle came out. This is its second weekend out now. The first week did not do too good. We reported on that on the last episode that just happened last week. Wound up making about roughly, so far on its second weekend, even on like Discount Tuesday, about $60 million on a $108 million budget.
Damn.
And that's worldwide. That's not even just domestic. They made about $60 million worldwide. So we obviously have to wait until the full numbers come out when it shows up, maybe probably by tomorrow, because at the time we're recording this, numbers should be out by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But as of right now, DC and WB have no shame. Coming straight from WB headquarters, they are saying the reason why Blue Beetle's financial response is not happening is due to the storm's impact is anticipated to be significant, particularly in Southern California where the film is over-indexing. So they are basically blaming
the weather,
Hurricane Hillary that just passed over the weekend on why Blue Beetle is not doing too good. So before it used to be general audiences weren't accepting it. Then it was Zack Snyder cultists are obliterating the reviews and the box office. And then real DC fans aren't showing up. And now nobody's showing up. So who can WB point their finger at now? And they're like the weather. It's God himself.
The weather.
Blue Beetle is not performing because of apparently Hurricane Hillary.
Oh, that sounds ridiculous. That doesn't make that doesn't make any sense. I mean, as far as I know, a lot of people were still out and about doing what they were doing during the storm. Granted, I don't know how bad it was for other people, but for us, it was kind of just raining. It was
in
bad.
LA, there was like I think 2-3 inches of water.
Okay,
it's not too bad, but you still seen like influencers throwing parties and shit. So I was like,
exactly, it's there. That's not the case. The point blank simple. No one's watching it because either WB's reputation or DC's reputation. It's heads or tails, really.
So you wouldn't say? I mean,
no,
we haven't seen Blue Beetle, so you wouldn't go out there and be like, "Oh, the hurricane is still hitting, huh?"
Oh, man, we've been out of that bitch for like a week now. There is no way. If people wanted to watch this shit, they would have watched it by now, including us. We do have to get on it, but like, it's not. Our reasons aren't because of the weather. If that makes any sense.
So what do you think the reasons are? And I ask because I know we talked about this before, and I know we kind of dove deeper into it. But at this point, with Blue Beetle coming into the scene, I think it's proper to ask this question again. And the question is this the end of superhero films? Now, I know we talked about it before, and we said that, hey, you know what? It's probably just garbage films that we don't want to see. Like, we're still up for superhero movies, but it's just
time to change the
way that they're
quality. Yeah.
Exactly. And let's say I haven't heard any bad reviews from Blue Beetle at all. I've been hearing that it's somewhat decent. I hear that it's a little generic, but at the same time, it's still a pretty fun superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I'm over here thinking, like, okay, well, if they're not giving it bad reviews, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes says that it's pretty decent too, and it's not even rotten.
Like 80% score, no?
Exactly. No, I think it dropped down to like 78 or 79 or something like that. But it's still pretty.
Still floating.
It's still certified fresh, if you will.
Yeah.
So I mean, they have the things that would draw people in. It's a family movie. It's, you know, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So why isn't people going to watch it? And we've seen the decline in Marvel 2 and all that as well. Is it superhero films, or is it just people check that at DC, or what is it?
I think it could just be, I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't think so, because I think TMNT was doing pretty good.
It did fair, but that's not necessarily like superheroes. I think that would be Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, but like they're classified as like superheroes.
Yeah, but nobody goes to I don't go to a TMNT and be like, oh, these are superheroes. They're just Ninja Turtles.
Well, yeah, but
they're mutant freaks.
They saved the X-Men gonna hate you. But I think they're classified as a comic book because they have comic book superhero movies.
Well, they do, but I wouldn't say they're superhero movies. They can't be superhero movies.
Nah, I think they're superhero movies.
They're mutant turtles.
But anyway, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
I'm willing to jump down it.
All right, we're going. Well, because they have comics, and they stop Shredder. They stop everything the Avengers do.
Predator now has comic books. Is he a superhero now?
Oh no, he's a comic book movie. It's a comic book movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He's not a superhero.
But he was before the comic books, and the Ninja Turtles were before the comic books too. So
really? I feel like TMNT.
So they could be considered a comic.
Their comics haven't been out that long, really?
No, I think the shows were made before the comics were
Because obviously Star Wars was before comics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of media that don't transfer that way. Yeah, the Predator got their comics recently.
Yeah, I can't say Mutant Ninja Turtles are superheroes.
No,
I'd say they're mutants, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they saved the day. They're
not super. You shoot them, they die. If you pop a bullet in a turtle, they're gonna die.
Not them, no.
Yeah. What? I mean, if they hit the shell, obviously like it'll bounce
turtle.
off.
You mean like a regular?
They have a bullet.
Turtles.
They got bulletproof shells, but like,
yeah,
you cap that turtle. You cap what's his name, Michelangelo. He ain't gonna want pizza no more, bro. It's over. Master Splinter, he's gonna split his head with this piece, bro. It's crazy. No.
No, I think they're superheroes. I think they classify as superhero movies.
Not if they could get shot.
What? Every superhero can get shot. It depends on if it does damage or not.
Like Batman's not a superhero. He could die if he gets shot.
That's a whole nother.
He's just a hero.
Well, I mean, technically, he's been said in the comics to have superhuman stuff.
I mean, yeah, eventually, but technically, all under that, he's just a human being. If he were to get shot,
that can
you seen that CW show, the Gotham Knights?
Yeah,
he got popped.
that is the worst. That is the worst version of him you could pick. That's like bottom of the barrel. My Bruce Wayne doesn't go down like a bitch.
I'm just saying, he got popped.
There's no way Bruce Wayne dies the same death his parents did. Like,
now, if we're talking about like Matt Reeves' Batman, well, my boy just tanked 50 bullets and just walked through it.
That was a bit unrealistic.
Yeah. And so he's not a superhero.
The suit doesn't make him a superhero. It's his abilities and all that. That maybe Pattinson's Batman isn't the right excuse because he's a scrawny ass guy. But like Ben Affleck, I would classify him as a superhero.
Ben Affleck's Batman?
Yeah, my man was crawling up walls and shit.
Agility.
He was basically a whole nother entity to the people of Gotham.
Yeah, but he got stabbed. So no.
When did he get stabbed?
He got stabbed in the warehouse scene when he was like fighting him. When he went and he was like, "Arr!"
Really?
Remember? Yeah. They stabbed him, and then he got the knife and stabbed the boy back afterwards.
Oh, that's right. He's bulletproof. He's not knife proof.
What?
You gotta make a distinction, like in the Christian Bale's Batman, where he's like, "Oh, will it give me armor against knives and stuff?" He's like, "Yeah." What about dog bites? And he's like, "Yeah."
Well, yeah. Well, they made it make sense, and I think that's what they kind of transferred into Ben Affleck's Batman suit the same way. Is that it's good enough to stop bullets,
Yeah.
but not a knife.
Mhm.
Because if it's slow enough to go through, so if a bullet's this close, it'll go through maybe. But if it's far away, it should block.
Well,
But
I don't know,
Pattinson,
because he was taking bullets to the cowl, so I don't know.
that has to be extra armor right there.
But like that's what I'm saying. 'Cause
I'm
I would
assuming the
imagine,
headpiece has to have more.
like he's technically super
But that's why.
human.
Why would you reinforce the headpiece if you are a superhero?
Brain damage? Superheroes can succumb to brain damage. Look
I'm
at-
just saying, if you drop Bruce Wayne off a 60-story tower, he's not gonna just walk it off.
I don't know. I've seen it happen. I can show you a comic panel where he falls from space and lives.
If he's in the Fast and the Furious universe, he'll probably
like he was coming down literally like at the speed of like a meteor,
Uh-huh.
and then he crash lands and he gets up like that ain't even hurt. Like
What the fuck?
I can show you that. I'll show you after
He
that.
didn't even like burn through the atmosphere.
No, I'll show you. But yeah, I classify those things as superheroes.
Okay. Well,
Maybe-
I would say they're not superheroes.
Okay.
Because
Well, I guess
if
we're gonna have to agree
if
to
you could
disagree.
catch a bullet, you're no longer a super being.
What?
I'm just saying, if you cannot repel bullets, you're not a super being.
Well, but like, okay, well, you can shoot the Flash in the leg, but he's still a superhero.
Yeah, but you hit him in the head.
We've seen Reverse Flash come back from that.
Well, not come back. He just slowed down his molecules to keep himself alive. Eventually, he's gonna die whenever he cannot stretch out the little bit of time left.
Well, no, I mean we've seen it happen. Did you see Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay, the animated one? It's part of that New 52 universe I was telling you about.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. It's
Oh, yeah?
because in Flashpoint,
He explains it like that.
yeah, in Flashpoint,
Oh.
Bruce Wayne shoots him in the head, and he's like, "Oh, like I'm still alive, and the hole's still there." And he basically is like, "Yeah, I'm vibrating my body to the point where like the bullet's not affecting me,
Mhm.
but if I stop,
I'm dead.
I'm dead."
Oh,
So
okay. I don't remember him explaining it like that. That's crazy.
yeah,
But I don't know.
you want to watch
I-
the movie?
Maybe not that one. There's a lot of more things going on in that one. No, but damn. Now you got me really questioning. Question to y'all: what makes a superhero is being the ability to get capped and walk it off, make it a superhero, or do you have to literally be Superman and like the bullets bounce off you type shit to be a superhero?
I guess,
Or do you think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles aren't superheroes? Because that is crazy. I think they are.
I would just think they're just
Who's not a
mutant.
superhero in the TMNT though is like Casey Jones. Homie walks around in a hockey mask and sticks.
Yeah. I'd say Iron Man's not a superhero either. He could get
I guess he isn't.
he could get dome pieced.
He's just a billionaire.
Okay, you say Iron Man's not 100%, but Batman is.
Batman's physique and body, bro, he's superhuman. He's peak performance man. Like he got to where Steve Rogers is without a serum type shit. Iron Man, he's just a man in a suit. I said it. Hot take. He's
Batman cannot carry a car, bro. Batman cannot carry a car.
He was strong enough to beat Superman
in armor and barely.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, you can't... Iron Man does it all the time in a suit. He's still not going to stand a chance against someone else.
Iron Man could barely handle an old man and a cripple. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I think your scales are balanced. Or unbalanced.
But either way, blaming
what
her,
is stopping Blue Beetle from advancing?
Hurricane Hillary is not the reason why.
Yeah, no. WB.
Is it because
Come on
of
now.
the fact that we just aren't interested in superhero movies anymore? Because we've been seeing an incline in like Barbie, Oppenheimer, that event brought people in. The Barbenheimer stuff, that shit was everywhere. That brought people in. Like, is it the marketing that's not getting people hyped for this movie? Did WB not promoting this well enough? Kind of like how we did back in 2016 when the DCU was first starting. You remember at CinemaCon, everybody was there. People were hyping it up. Henry Cavill was in like a mask and all that stuff. It was hype. It was pure hype. Are we in a period where people are just like, we don't have the money to hype this up, and actors not being around, is that an issue too? Because the director Angel Manuel Soto was the director of Blue Beetle, also had said too at one point that the actors not being there, though they're heroes, it's, it could be an issue too.
I think it's just marketing. Maybe as a society we've moved on, but it's hard to tell because, well, you got Guardians 3 doing well, you got Into the Spider-Verse doing well. DC has just been having a bad luck since fucking Black Adam, depending on how you look at it. I look at it like that. Maybe even further, WW84
I think
and
people,
Suicide Squad.
I just think people want to be excited to go see what they want to see, and I don't think it's superhero fatigue.
It's the weird thing because I don't think it's superhero fatigue, but it's also this thing that people think that WB can't sell anything unless it's Joker and Batman, which I don't think that's true either, because they were pushing that narrative out on Twitter, and I was like, that's not true. There's a whole untapped audience to see like other people. It depends on what you're doing. And personally, this goes into my whole thing about A-listers and B-listers, but I'm not gonna want to see a movie full of B-listers, not without A-listers first. Like a Teen Titans movie sounds dope, but I'd still want to see Iron Man. Fuck, I'd like to see Robin with Batman first, Aqualad with Aquaman, so on and so forth. Like, I don't want B-listers before A-listers, and that's gonna be a lot harder to bring in audiences when, again, sure, James Gunn being tied to these projects is his namesake, but like, how can you have faith in them when we don't know who they are?
That's one thing too. But I wholeheartedly, firmly believe that it has to do with the marketing that you put into it. How well are you gonna make these people like aware and known? See, James Gunn, I think he did what was terrible for DC and the movies that were coming out, but what's good for him and his new DCU. What did he do when he first found out? And I always wondered too, like, why would he do it so soon? But it makes sense. You get everybody hyped. You make them think what's going to happen. You tell them that certain movies are obviously going to be loosely adapted from certain comic books. You get the comic book sales up. You get people to go and do their homework. They're going to be anticipating and waiting for this movie. Now, do I think he waited or he put a pretty good wait time, and especially at one of the worst points in Hollywood history right now with the strike going on? But he did it. He played it smart for what he thought was gonna happen, and people would have been well versed on their homework by the time the movie comes out, and that could have been very beneficial for him. And if he really is doing this whole connectivity thing to a T, you're gonna get B-listers with their own movies, and you can hype people to go watch those B-listers. But if you're gonna have A-listers as like side dishes in a main story for like one A-lister, that's worth it too. You know, it's the way that he's playing it out. And now that with the strike and everything going on, it really is hurting these kinds of films, especially DC, where they're already struggling because they have no cohesiveness, and general audiences have already basically checked out. It's wrong, man. It's wrong. I can't.
There's a lot of things stacked up. The weather isn't one of them.
Yeah, no, I can't say weather is one of them.
There's no way. There's a lot of things stacked up against WB, honestly, and not even from like a fan's perspective. Like James Gunn also being the one to literally shoot it in the foot and then throw it to the wolves. Like it's interesting.
I'm just gonna
how that all played out.
I'm just gonna be using Hurricane Hillary as an excuse for the rest of the year. Might as well.
Why didn't this movie do good? Oh, remember that hurricane back in September?
Oh yeah, man. That shit hurt us. But something that is getting hurt, and it's not because of the hurricane, it is actually because of the strike that's happening right now in Hollywood, and that's Dune Part 2 being pushed back.
Oh, man. We lost. We fucking lost.
We lost.
Or you didn't even watch the first one.
Yeah,
I lost.
I was about to say, I don't know if we lost.
I lost.
You probably, for sure.
Yeah, no, I lost.
And, that's fine. But, so the thing is
nah, man, I want a W.
Yeah.
This would have been it.
From Dune?
Yeah. I like the first one.
From Dune? You don't think that, people just probably watched the first one because it was on streaming?
Hey, you take that back right now.
I'm just saying.
You stop that narrative right now.
I'm just saying.
It wasn't because it was on streaming. It actually did really good. And I think it has a very stacked cast too.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's no way.
I seen the magazines they put out for Variety or whatever, and Dave Bautista's in there. There's a lot of Austin Butler's in there too. He looks weird, bald headed. Yeah, he looks really.
Yeah, but we don't talk about him. No,
he looks very menacing.
But yeah, I really think we just I think I lost because I was really looking forward to this one.
Well, I haven't seen the first one, and I was low-key looking forward to this one too because this is another movie that we're going to probably miss out on this year that could have made it into our top 10. Who knows? But moving to March 15th, 2024, going to be moving Godzilla vs. Kong, The New Empire, from that slot and moving that back to April 12th, 2024. So a month back for Kong versus Godzilla, and basically everything else seems to be going fine. They're gonna leave their other movies. I know Candy's supposed to be coming out, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. They haven't pushed that one back either. So those are gonna be their last two, and I believe Wonka as well. Now that Dune Part 2 is gonna be out, positives. The Equalizer is gonna get IMAX screens. The Marvels will be able to get IMAX screens.
I don't want to watch that bitch in IMAX.
And I mean, that could be a W for some people, but who knows if Marvel's gonna push the Marvels back or anything like that. Do you feel like Marvel will do that because of the strikes?
Well, no. I mean, we're close. We're pretty close to their release already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they're. I think if they secure the IMAX screens, that'll be it. You know, I think that'll cement them in their place, and then they'll either make that return or not with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, yeah, everything coming out of the strike is like insane because they'd rather push these back than pay their people.
Yeah, but
does it cost more to push that shit back?
No, because it's just like moving slots. They already basically picked their slots. It could probably potentially hurt them or maybe make them more money in the long run, depending if this movie is actually good. My opinion, pushing this movie back to March is a bad idea. I'll let you know why that's a bad idea in the first place. But I think this is showing how not faithful they are in this movie, because the first one came out during streaming time, and most of their numbers came from streaming. So it was a hit. People loved it, whatever. I didn't watch it.
We know. You established that.
I didn't watch it. And so me seeing them push it back is me thinking that they don't feel that they can promote this movie without the cast. And, you know, Zendaya's movie Challengers also got pushed back. And she would have been hot off the heels of Challengers to be pushing Dune. So I'm thinking without the stars being able to promote this movie, they don't have faith that this movie will sell tickets. And if they don't have faith that this movie will sell tickets, then they don't have faith that the first one did good because it was good on its own. That it may be that people were just bored and needed a movie to watch.
Well, every movie needs their actors to support it. That's a given. But I don't.
Barbenheimer did amazing without him.
They were what? They had hella marketing before that movie before the fucking thing. They just didn't make it to the premiere, or they were at the premiere and dipped.
That's why they didn't push anything after that. It was just basically the whole Barbenheimer thing.
Well, yeah, but that's because all of the marketing did it beforehand. That's different. See, this is happening during the strike. What do you call it? Barbenheimer was the meme that like took over everything, and then everyone was just like running with that. And that's what got people to watch it, you know, doing doubled features or whatever so the fuck they were doing. But yeah, that movie had hella marketing, especially on the internet. The internet will take anything and just run with that bitch. So, like, I think Oppenheimer is probably a bad example, but I think this movie did good. And obviously, every movie needs their cast and director to back it up, unless you're Shazam: Fury of the Gods and you dip out mid-boat or mid-ship. But
Sandberg,
like. Yeah, no. I was expecting this movie to do good. And obviously, Zendaya is a hot ticket regardless. I think Challengers would have definitely hyped it all up, especially if everyone was watching it for that threesome or whatever the reason they were watching it for. Like, yeah. And then Timothée Chalamet would have been hot off Wonka. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, that movie would have gotten traction for sure. But I think...
Oh, well, no, Wonka would have came out in December. Oh. So he would have been hot off Dune 2 for Wonka.
Oh, okay.
So I don't even know if they're going to push back Wonka because they might not have been.
I think that one's wrapped up already.
Yeah, but that one's all the way in December. And if they don't have the actors and they don't have Timothée Chalamet to be able to promote it, especially, and you know, they record some stuff in advance. Like Heart of Stone, they were having that Collider interview that we did a couple weeks back and all that. Those were pre-recorded stuff. I don't even think they did pre-promotion yet for Dune Part 2 when the strike happened. Yeah. So they don't even have like clips to put out there besides maybe like principal photography that they use the magazine for and stuff like that.
Maybe. But yeah, I think a lot of these movies are going to just keep being pushed back until the strike gets resolved. And I don't see it being resolved anytime soon. So rip cinema after it was just coming back.
Well, if Dune Part 2... If WB really is putting their chips down on Dune Part 2, this is going to be the test right here. And that's because, like I said, it is moving to March 15, 2024. Now, we saw this year's March, right? Mm-hmm. That shit was stacked. What did we have? John Wick, Transformers, Scream.
Creed,
Dungeons and Dragons, Creed, and one more movie. There was one more. Oh, Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse came out. There was 5 stacked movies.
Yeah.
And a few of them tanked for it. I think John Wick was front heavy, but then they started slowing down towards the middle because
Scream took it over.
Creed only had like about a week of like it was very front heavy too. It still carried, but it took a while to go.
Yeah.
Transformers bit the bullet hard. Across the Spider-Verse was thriving. I think everybody was going to watch that because it was like a family movie. And Dungeons and Dragons just went to Paramount Plus.
That shit tanked.
Yeah,
hard.
that shit just went straight to Paramount Plus like a week later. So I wanted to see what Dune 2 was up against. And for March 2024, we're going to be having The Fall Guy, which it has Aaron Taylor Johnson, Teresa Palmer, David Litch. It's about a Hollywood stuntman by day, works as a bounty hunter by night. He incorporates his stunts into his bounty hunting flying vehicle over large objects, jumping for impossibility high angles to nab the people he and his team are chasing. That sounds fun. That actually sounds fun. I think that sounds fun.
Like an interesting concept.
Whenever the trailer drops for that, I'm actually going to be curious about that. And that's even if this one's going to stay where it's at. Who knows if it even started filming yet.
Basically.
I know Aaron Taylor Johnson was doing Kraven the Hunter, so maybe he was doing both productions. Who knows? Another one is called Elio. I know this one is done, and this one was just all voice work, so and the rest is animation, so they can push the rest out. No problem. A-okay. A boy finds himself transported across the galaxy and mistaken for the intergalactic ambassador for our planet Earth. Also sounds fun.
I've seen the trailer for that one.
You seen the trailer? Was it like a little like snippet? It was like a teaser, huh?
I think it's coming from Disney or Pixar. Something like that.
Pixar. Very good. So, also, March, Kung Fu Panda 4.
Damn. Take my money.
Now, we don't know if anything has started for it yet. So, that one could be still up in the air. Who knows? A Quiet Place Day 1. We know that one's ready to go. That one's in post-production right now. So, we'll probably see that one. Or, this one's under Paramount. Paramount might say, hey, we might need to push this one back for a different movie to be slotted there till future date. But it is A Quiet Place. So, I mean, I don't know how excited anybody is.
What?
Quiet Place Day 1.
You didn't like the second one?
I like them, but I always just wait for streaming for them. I never actually went to the theaters.
I saw the first one in theaters.
Yeah. Was it an experience?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good.
I feel like that one, and what's the other one on Netflix? The one with Sandra Bullock?
Bird Box.
Bird Box. You know how like, oh well, maybe not that one so much, but you know how like there's so much silence. I don't like those movies in a theater. I feel like when you go to a theater, you want those extra things, but at the same time, I don't know. Does it give you a different feeling when it's just all quiet?
It's like a tension builder. It's kind of like you've seen the first one, right?
I have.
So small spoilers for what is it? Quiet Place. But the beginning really ties you in because you're really wondering like, damn, why is everything so quiet, so on and so forth. And then like that beginning happens with the kid, and you're like, damn. And then like the rest of the movie builds tension. But yeah, I think it's a big tension builder. As for Bird Box, it had moments. Obviously, that was a streaming movie, but it had moments. But at the same time, like that silence was more just like, what the fuck, you know? Because I think in The Quiet Place, it's mostly people that have to shut the fuck up. Like, you still heard different things, trees, animals, and so on and so forth. While in Bird Box, everything just was mute. Like it wasn't even like unsettling. It was more just like, why is there nothing going? Why is there no other sounds? You know? Yeah. Like you would expect animals or something. You know? Yeah. Because I mean, not every animal can see as us or same thing, so on and so forth. Yeah. But I don't know. I Bird Box for me was a one and done. I didn't even watch the second one.
I haven't watched it either.
If it ain't Sandra Bullock, I don't want it.
Yeah. I think MGK and that whole old lady or holding the old lady's eyes open really ruined that movie for me. That them making it a meme after that, I was just like, damn, can't even take this movie seriously anymore. No. Yeah, and seeing MGK like Gremlin, bro, that shit was just weird. I didn't like that either. Another movie that is coming out though, I did say Godzilla vs. Kong, but they got pushed back to April 15th. Yeah. So they're no longer in March. So thank goodness they probably have a fighting chance in April.
I was really looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, me too. Low-key, I was mad that the first one was just straight to streaming because I felt like that movie would have been amazing in IMAX or whatever. Yeah. And then another movie that's coming out in March is Snow White. that movie will most definitely take hard.
Yeah, there's no way. If you go to watch that one, I got some news for you. No, don't watch that fucking movie.
You ain't gonna see no dwarves in there.
Yeah, it's Snow White and the 7 normal people.
And Rachel Zegler.
I need that movie to tank. Like if there was any clear message that no one wanted this shit, it should be this one. Sorry, Rachel Zegler, but you got to be the guy.
The fault. This is the one where you can just completely probably skip.
I'm not watching that.
You could probably wait till streaming, but
like
you're probably not gonna want to wait for that either.
We were urgent to do The Little Mermaid because we kind of enjoyed the OG, and then our obviously shout out Stephanie. We wanted her input very much, but we can hold off on this one. We can hold off on this one.
Honestly, I'm good. I'm good. Keep it. That's for you guys. Another banger is Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, which is Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Yeah. I was looking
and that one was in the middle of production, so that one could get pushed back for sure. I don't know if that one wound up wrapping up production. Like I said,
I don't think I heard anything about it.
Me neither. So, I mean, that one is still up in the air. We don't even know if that one's going to make it. And then last but not least, Mickey 17. And that is with Stephen Yeun. I know Robert Pattinson's going to be in this one. It's about an expendable person who is sent on the most dangerous, even suicidal jobs. When an expendable dies, a new body is regenerated. The most of the memories intact. Essentially, Mickey 7 is the 7th iteration of an expendable who is undergoing an existential identity crisis while trying to keep his successor's regeneration a secret and negotiating with the planet's native species on a dangerous trip to colonize a new ice world.
Ooh, that already sounds cool.
That sounded...
I like those movies.
Yeah.
I really like those movies. Have you seen the one, What Happened on Monday?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that shit was good.
I love that one. I love movies like this.
Yeah. The one with Ryan Reynolds, too, that one was really good. What was that one called? That one came out recently, and that older man, too. Well, they basically, like, switch bodies or whatever, and that one was fucking nice as well. This is like a sci-fi movie. Mm-hmm. Stephen Yeun, too, and Robert Pattinson, they're going to be good. So that one could probably have some competition depending on the trailer as well. But yeah, man, you heard them all. Which one's biting the dust, bro? And Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 will be Dune Part 2 will be in the middle of all this madness. Well, on the 15th. And Dune Part 2 is in the middle. Fall Guy and ELO is March 1st. Kung Fu Panda and A Quiet Place is March 8th. Then you have Dune Part 2 on the 15th of March. Solo Dolo. Then you got March 22nd, Snow White. And then you have on the 29th, Mickey 17 and Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I think, obviously we know the one that's going to tank most likely is the Snow White one. On the off chance that it doesn't, I think, I don't know.
I think A Quiet Place will take a hit.
Yeah.
100%.
Quiet Place. I think Ilios might too. Just because
it's new.
Pixar and Disney as a whole have been kind of kicking the bucket lately.
If it winds up being good, it'll probably carry like Elemental.
Okay, yeah.
I think Kung Fu Panda 4, if marketing is done right, which, I mean, you don't really need the actors because you could just use pre-recorded lines and put a lot of like snippets, or you can even animate scenes for trailers if you wanted to, you know, and just use like throwaway lines or whatever. So they can do a lot with this one.
And even then, Kung Fu Panda is a DreamWorks franchise for sure. I know it's my favorite of the DreamWorks, but like I'd put it up there with Shrek. Like it doesn't need marketing, I don't think.
See, and here's my thing, and this is why it's just Kung Fu Panda hasn't been around for a while, so it kind of worries me that, you know, it might be one of those sleeper, like it's gonna take a lot for kids to want to like go watch it when they really, I mean, unless their parents watch. I hope if you guys are parents out there, you guys are culturing your kids with Kung Fu Panda.
Exactly. Do your kids know about Kung Fu Panda?
1, maybe 2, most definitely 3. Like,
the third one was fucking gold.
That one was actually solid.
Like that one.
That one was actually really good. They didn't have to go hard like that.
Yeah, they did. They had to make it great. I know people like the second one. I don't know how. I don't really vibe with that one.
It's cool. It's not like I'd say it's the weakest link out of the trilogy. You always have to have the weakest link.
Yeah, I guess it would be the second one for me anyway. I know a lot of people like the second one. I just can't get behind it. Maybe because it was really skating that line between of realism and cartooniness, like thin ice type scaling, you know.
I don't really remember that one too much.
Because people were just like really loving that movie, and I was like, why? I can't wrap my head around it. It's just one of those enigmas where I'm like, why? You know?
Yeah, I get you.
But I think Kung Fu Panda 4 might be solid.
It could make it.
Yeah.
So you think Dune Part 2 can hold his own against Afterlife and Mickey 17?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Robert Pattinson's a superstar, and maybe Ghostbusters Afterlife, depending on how you took it, because I did see that some people found it distasteful for bringing Homeboy back, but I mean, I'm thinking Ghostbusters might do good for nostalgia factor. A lot of people are going to go watch that. Dune Part 2 is a sci-fi kind of... Dune Part 2 is a sci-fi, and so is Mickey 17. So, and Dune Part 2 has a whole week for themselves before Snow White. So maybe 2 weeks for its own.
Maybe.
So, and maybe they pay... You know what? I see you, WB. Little slick diss, bro. They literally were like, Snow White ain't going to do shit. I got 2 weeks here.
Maybe, yeah.
They were like, Dune Part 2 is going to be slid right there, bro. At 100%. That's probably what they thought.
It's going to be good. I honestly, like, if Kong and Godzilla wasn't pushed back, I can imagine it dominating the box office that much.
No. That motherfucker would have died.
No, I don't think so.
And to see with these ones, to be honest, I would think it'll probably do good the first week. But off the story of the first one, I don't even think people would have been back to watch it again just to be like, oh, for the story. Nah, they would have waited to watch it again.
That's why it's one of those mind-numbing ones where you can just watch the action. It would have done great.
No, but that's the thing. Those don't do good in the box office. Those do good for the first week. Those are the front-ended ones, like John Wick. It looks good, but then it stops being good when the story's not there. So they wouldn't have survived 2 weeks. If they would have had 2 weeks, I say right now it would have been a wasted potential. I think Dune Part 2 would probably benefit better. 100%. And now looking into it and seeing how it worked out, I know exactly why they came down with this. And Dune Part 2, Kong, Godzilla.
Oh yeah, Dune Part 2.
Unless the story's solid. I honestly don't believe Godzilla versus Kong was like a solid story whatsoever. So I think it was great for streaming. I would have loved to have seen it in the theaters, but at the same time, you wouldn't have really gotten too much out of it. So
nah, I think that movie would have blew up if because everyone likes that showdown. Everyone loves that showdown. Granted, it didn't end the way people thought it would have, unless you were Team Godzilla, in which case, good for you. Yeah, I think that movie would have done pretty solid in theaters. Same thing with this one if it was in the same slot. But yeah, I can see WB putting their chips on Dune because it is a popular franchise after the first one. The first one did great.
It did okay. It did okay for where it was and where it was at.
Without
that's all I'm saying. Like
Dune this year,
COVID really fucked it up because we could have probably seen better numbers if it obviously came out in the box office. We would have seen what the hype was for this movie, but because COVID fucked it up, there is that question of, can Dune perform?
Without Dune this year, Rebel Moon might be the sci-fi of the year.
Probably. Unless James Cameron re-releases Avatar.
Dear God. That's everyone's biggest fear.
That's what he does, man. He's just like, man.
He's like, damn, this movie's getting close to the top spot. Can't do that. Or boom.
Yeah,
like, he brings
the
it down.
re-release.
He brings it down.
I swear that he just puts it in his contracts now. Like, I need a re-release.
We gotta do 2 more laps with those deleted scenes. We'll be all right.
I swear. And then, dusting off Titanic after like all these years, he's just like, I want to just take a lap around the park just one time. It's like, fuck, dude. When is it enough? Moving on, though. So we are hearing Bob Iger is outraged.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me get the world's smallest violin. Like, what's he sad about, bro? Come on.
So he's upset that this past week that the WGA decided to refuse his offer that he thought was meeting all the demands of everybody involved and giving some, and said, what the fuck, guys? Why didn't you guys take our proposal? WGA wound up putting out a full statement. We're going to talk about it, but just to recap for you new listeners out there, if you guys want the full story, we talk about it in our older episodes. Go check it out if you guys want to be 110% caught up. So they had about a meeting 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Everything fell through. They had about a week of just nothing, maybe sending notes back and forth. The AMPTP called them in on Monday of the past week that just came out. The past week, the AMPTP sat down with them, and 20 minutes into the meeting, the WGA stood up and walked out for their reasons that they put into this statement right here. Apparently, these companies are not wanting to have good conversations. So I'm gonna read the full statement. Bear with me, guys.
Right.
So it says here, dear members, after 102 days of being on strike and of the AMPTP silence, the companies began to bargain with us on August 11th, presenting us for the first time with a counteroffer. We responded to their counteroffer at the beginning of last week and engaged in further discussion throughout the week. On Monday of this week, we received an invitation to meet with Bob Iger, Don Langley, Ted Sarandos, David Zaslav, and Carol Lamborghini.
Mm-hmm.
It was accompanied by a message that it was past time to end this strike and that the companies were finally ready to bargain a deal.
Sheesh.
We accepted the invitation and in good faith met tonight in hopes that the companies were serious about getting the industry back to work. Instead, on the 113th day of the strike, and while SAG-AFTRA is walking the picket lines by our side, we were met with a lecture about how good their single and only counteroffer was. We explained all the ways in which their counters, limitations, and loopholes and omissions failed to sufficiently protect writers from the existential threats that caused us to strike in the first place. We told them that a strike has a price, and that price is an answer to all, and not just to some of the problems they have created in the business. But this wasn't a meeting to make a deal. This was a meeting to get us to cave, which is why not 20 minutes after we left the meeting, the AMPTP released its summary of their proposals. This was the company's plan from the beginning, not to bargain, but to jam us. It is their only strategy, to bet that we will turn on each other. Tomorrow we will send a more detailed description of the state of the negotiations, and we will see you all out on the picket lines, and the companies continue to see what our labor power looks like.
See, I called this. I told you that I think when we talk about this last, we talk about the SAG strike for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what do you call it? They're not serious. They want to dress the studios and all them, the heads want to make them look like the bad guys. That they're too greedy in the media. They this and that. They don't want to work because they're greedy. They think we're being unfair. Boo-hoo. Like, no, that's not the case. That was honestly, I knew it from the jump that that's exactly what they were trying to do. And the fact that this is coming to light proves that I'm very correct, which is nice because I rarely get W's on these podcasts. I tell you, no.
Yeah, you said rarely. I think you get a fair amount of W's.
Oh, see, you know what that sounds like? No,
that Batman's a superhero. Stop where you're at, man.
He is a superhero.
He is not. He's not. That's another L for you. I'm gonna take back the dubs. So we wound up getting what the WGA is basically proposing, right? They gave us the company name, the annual cost that they would basically take from their annual revenues, and basically the percentage that would be taken out of their annual revenues. Okay. You following along with me? You get
I am doing my best.
All right, here we go. So the WGA proposed to Disney the annual cost for what they're asking for, with all their demands met, the WGA demands. Their annual cost would be about $72 million out of Disney's annual revenue of $82.7 billion, right? That is about 0.088% of the company's annual revenue. That's not even 1%. Netflix annual cost for the WGA would be about $65 million of their annual revenue, which is about $31.6 billion. That is about 0.206%. A little bit more for Netflix, but not over that 1% line because of cents and decimals. That it kind of makes it different.
Streaming works differently.
Yeah, we're not a math place, so do what you will with that information. Warner Brothers Discovery, their annual cost is about $45 million for the WGA to get their demands out of their annual revenue of $43.1 billion. That is about 0.104%.
If WB was making money,
that would be different.
Yeah, if
That'd be
WB was
different.
making money, they'd be different.
Yeah. No, but they're actually hemorrhaging
Yeah.
tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount Global annual cost $43 million out of annual revenue of $30.2 billion, and that's about 0.143%, and so on and so forth. Amazon, they're asking for about 0.006% of their annual revenue. Sony 0.027% of their annual revenue, and Apple 0.004%. So
a lot of these people are asking for less than 1%
of the company's annual revenue. And obviously that's a lot of money. Like 46 million is not nothing to sneeze at.
Well,
we
no.
know that.
Well, yeah.
But if this is the price to pay for your company to make this much money, and if you pay them this much, and they'll work harder for you and do even better for you, and you'll be even making more money, because what did they say? If you have happy employees, you're going to have a thriving company, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Because they're going to always be loyal to you, provide for you. What do people say when they work with their favorite directors? Cillian Murphy with Christopher Nolan, with the cast of the Justice League with Zack Snyder, with Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn. You know, it's when you have a good leadership and you treat your people right, you pay them. Or obviously, these directors don't have any say in their pay, so maybe that's why friendships work a little bit better than business. But regardless, they should have good relationships with their employees, and if you want them to produce something good for you, good stories, etica, then you need to pay them their money. You need to pay your people.
Yeah, basically. There's no other way to paint this picture. It just pay them. Like yeah, it makes. I'm sure to them, you know, they're like, oh, boo-hoo, the board of directors wouldn't let this happen, so on and so forth. But like, yeah, out of $1 billion company, you can shed cash for these people that you've probably been abusing for a good minute now. And it's like, and it's not even like they're asking for that and pay for their suffering through the months or whatever. It's just like, no, sign these fucking papers, give us what we want, and we will go back to work, no problem.
Everybody's gonna get back to work.
Exactly. But
and we can get our entertainment back.
Yeah, basically, stop moving my fucking movies. That's like the biggest thing. Like, oh man, I don't know. These people are just, I don't know.
I'm
what
just
goes on
saying,
with
man.
their
I
head.
have never heard you talk about Dune at all. Came out in 2020.
You talking about me? No.
Yeah, man. I've
told you to watch Dune.
No, you told me that when we were hearing the promotion about Dune Part 2. But in the past 3 years, you've not brought up Dune not one time.
Well, it's good.
Well, now you say it's good.
Well, it is good.
When it's time to propagate it.
I've been saying it's good.
No, because if it's a good movie, you would have brought it up a long time ago.
No,
100%.
it is a good movie.
Because what's a movie you brought up to me recently? Well, I bring up tons of movies to you, and I'm just like, hey, this is
But
really
did
good.
you watch Dune? No.
No.
Every time I do, every once in a blue moon, you don't
Have
even
you watched Tenet?
watch it. No.
Nah, that's right.
Have you watched Tenet?
No.
No,
You watched
yeah.
Flaming Hot?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I watched Flaming Hot. Did you?
I
No.
don't know.
We watch a lot of movies.
You watch Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I'm not watching that shit.
Yeah, you have to.
Unfortunately, I'm not watching that one. But all that aside, it's just pay your people, man. It ain't hard, and I'm sure 47 million sounds like crazy out of a company's pocket. But again, if you work with them, they will work for you.
Yeah.
And pump you more money. Eventually that 47 million will be chump change. Like come on now.
The 47 million to them is chump change. Fucking Zaslav makes 140 million a year or whatever.
And Bob Iger's upset about that. How about we take away his shit, let him live, pick it, whatever the fuck else, and then see how he feels.
Right.
But no, he'll never understand that because he's high and mighty and these people they're money gouging us. Shut the fuck up, bro. Ain't no way.
Money gouging while he's
eating fucking Kobe steaks and shit.
Fucking using his bidet.
Well, you have to be rich to buy a bidet.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. He's rich.
Well, no, I mean, do you have to be rich? I think you can buy a regular priced bidet nowadays.
I don't think anybody without money just gets bidets.
Well, no, but like you could. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you need to be rich to have one anymore.
Really?
It's just an installation thing now. Like, you just put one in and it's...
So that's preference?
I think so.
Which one of y'all got a bidet in your house? I need to know. That's crazy. If it's affordable and you guys have one, that's crazy. Anyways, moving on though. James Gunn, I got you, Josh. Don't worry about it. So, questions arise once again on James Gunn's DCU. And you know what? I'm starting to think that we're not getting any answers off of Twitter anymore or Reddit or anywhere threads that James Gunn puts it out, because at this point, I honestly think that he is just saying things. I don't understand what's going on. And if he's just saying things, why are you talking in the first place? So, this user winds up tagging James Gunn in this Reddit post saying, "So excited, James. This is going to be the greatest Superman movie. But what about Nathan's character in the Suicide Squad, TDK? Is supposedly to be alive. You're rebooting that part. How does it fit everything? I cannot understand. Can you explain it? I'm confused. Thanks for everything. DC fans are with you."
Not all of them.
And James Gunn replied, "DC Studios movies and canon start with Superman Legacy." I don't get that. I don't understand, because I thought the first DCU superhero was Blue Beetle. The first DCU movie is Superman Legacy. So if that's the case, and we're painting the picture of what he's been saying, is Jaime Reyes only going to jump to the new DCU and we're not going to see the rest of the crew? Or what, like, so the Suicide Squad is not going to come back? Like, I'm assuming that they're just going to set this in a different multiverse, right?
Well, I don't know.
I don't get it.
The multiverse stuff is a bitch and a half to navigate through. To me, this sounds like he's just making shit up as it goes type deal. Because, yeah, Blue Beetle was supposed to be set in the DCU, but the timeline doesn't start there. How does that work?
Is this his tactic to like juke us out?
Exactly. Are you telling me it only matters what he touches that's canon? Like, how does that work? Because Creature Commandos is supposed to come out before Superman Legacy. So where does that fall in your little timeline? You're telling me Peacemaker and all this and that doesn't happen, but you're gonna continue those in the DCEU? I don't know. I don't know what he means. I'm tired of trying to navigate through his shit just because he won't give cohesiveness. And I don't know if that's because of Twitter people, the way they take his shit and run with it and, you know, spin out lies. I don't know. Maybe it's just him not being cohesive. Like, I am tired of just trying to navigate it for him.
I'm trying to navigate everything that he's saying only because I want to know what's going on. I'm fine with surprises and I'm fine with the little things, but it's kind of like when somebody describes their movie, right? Like a director. They come out and they're like, well, I'm making, it's kind of like with Michael Mann when he was talking about Heat 2 recently. I don't know if you've seen, he did like an article on Variety. He was saying that, you know,
I think we talk about it, no?
We touched up on it that I guess, no, we didn't really talk about it. We said that he was making one, or that he wants to make one, but it's going to come out after Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
That the one that he is coming out soon. It's supposed to be about the dude that made the new Ferrari movie. But he basically talked about, like, when he talks about his movies, he'll describe it to you and he'll tell you, like, who he thinks is supposed to be playing it off the bat of his head. He'll describe a picture to you and what that movie is going to be about, where James Gunn has been very vague with, like, where this is going and where the DCU is and the state of it all. And, you know, a lot of the times studios will try to, like, hype and promote, and, you know, from the early on, it's kind of like you remember when Black Adam came out at CinemaCon and he had that whole the Dwayne Johnson, there was no trailer yet, nothing was ready, and they wanted to show something at CinemaCon. So what they do, they put like this little like teaser thing together where it looked like paper and you know, the arms were moving, Black Adam was there with the lightning, and then Dwayne Johnson comes out with the Black Adam suit or whatever. Basically describing the movie, letting you know what you're going to be looking forward to, and blah, 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 blah. Now, granted, that was a little bit closer to the premiere of Black Adam. That was like about a year and a half away from Black Adam. I know we're like 2 years away from Superman Legacy, but if James Gunn is saying that we're supposed to be getting not cohesiveness, but more transparency and know what we're going to be walking into, and especially in this time where we're in such disarray, the Flash bombing, Blue Beetle not looking so good, now Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I know I shitted on it the other day, but that's not looking so good either. Why isn't he out here trying to save all this instead of just being like, well, there's nothing I could do anyways, I'm going to just let everything basically fall to the floor and I'll sweep it up after?
That's what it. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is. I don't. And like, this isn't even like stabbing in his direction. It's more of just like, what the fuck? Because when Zack Snyder ran this bitch once upon a time, he had a slate. He had that bitch ready to go. He had it mapped out since Man of Steel. It had Green Lantern. It had Cyborg and Flash. It had so on and so forth. Like, you knew where it was going, you know, with that little graph. You don't know what the story entails, but you know all of these were going to be in that bitch. We know what he has in store, but we don't have a timeline. We don't know what's going on, and that's only because...
And the obscure characters don't make sense either.
Well, yeah, and then he backtracks also.
That's another thing.
Blue Beetle... Oh, he's the first character, but the DCU doesn't start there. How does that work? How you just take the character away from the guy who directed that movie and everything? I don't understand how that works. Peacemaker, again, is he not going to be the same Peacemaker? He's going to have his wife in there. You're telling me it's not the same chick in that Superman universe? Like, I don't understand what he could mean.
Yeah. Me neither. I've been trying to figure this shit out. It's weird. And you know what's funny? When I was naming directors, I always feel like we talk about Zack Snyder a lot on here, so I'm like trying to avoid directors to say, and then you just outright just like said them, and I was just like, fuck, why did I tiptoe in the first place?
Well, no, it's because, I mean, it's not even like obviously it's a compare thing, but that's because he ran that bitch once upon a time. He was running DC at one point. Mm-hmm. Like, he was the guy they were looking to create the DCU.
No, that's true.
So like he was in James Gunn's shoes at one point, and he was doing a better job. Granted, no matter how you feel about his movies, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about mapping the bitch out. Like, he had it mapped, you know? You remember what the graph looked like. It had Man of Steel, had BVS, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, nothing about Birds of Prey. That came later.
Oh,
so on and so forth.
And you know what? For those James Gunn, like, people out there that, like, love him so much for whatever reason, Zack Snyder was rolled BVS and all that, or he made that happen because Warner Brothers was like, we want Superman and Batman interacting because we want a universe. Man of Steel was supposed to be 1 out of a 5 movie arc.
Yeah.
And they wanted a whole universe because of Marvel. So he basically was thrown shit to put into movies, and he rolled them out and banged them out like they were supposed to. Whereas James Gunn, he has full creative control right now, and it sounds like he's having trouble even shuffling anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It is different, and I do acknowledge that he was, but I be trying to, like, not just using him as like a plain example all the time. But it's fair when we do. It's just, I personally feel like I use him a lot. But either way, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, guys. There's a lot to discuss, and there's some things that got me worried. All right. And it got me worried because Zack Snyder is this guy that a lot of people look at and is like, oh, you had DC people that were like, oh, yeah, he sees Superman and is like, oh, I just want to make him dark and gritty or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or like, I think there was a quote where somebody keeps taking out of context from him where he's like, oh, yeah, your superheroes, like, they curse or whatever. Like, sorry to burst your bubble, but they say things or they have sex or whatever, blah, 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 and whatever. So, talking to IGN, Zack Snyder basically gave a little bit of tea about what the movie's going to be about, saying that in one of his quotes, the old king was much more of a straight-up imperialist, building deep world building constructed in the head about every aspect of this world, saying that there is a dictator in this movie, and that dictator is being played by none other than Skren, Steven Skren. And he was in Alita Battle Angel. He was also in what's another movie he was in? He was in quite a bit. He's like that British dude. Oh, he was in Deadpool. Ajax? He was Ajax.
Oh, okay.
He was Ajax in Deadpool. So he basically said that he offered Skren the role. And the way that he kind of sold the role to Skren was saying that when we meet Noble, we meet a man with an incredible amount of military. Oh, this is Zach pitching it to Skren. Sorry. Incredible amount of military power and might. With an arsenal behind him, he read the script, said that this is a dream role, and I understand this, and I'm built for this. And if you're going to step on the big stage, Noble is the one. So Skren basically said there was self-motivation and sadism. And what really made Zack Snyder sell this movie was when he said that it's a modern Rebel Moon is a modern Star Wars with sex, violence, and swearing. And that was enough for him to say, sign me up. Now, I get it. Sounds cool. It doesn't sound crazy. Mm-hmm. But then you got these people on the internet, right, that take this and say and Star Wars, sex, violence, drugs. Zack Snyder doesn't know how to adapt things. Now, granted, there's not a lot of reach around to poke at him because he's not taking a pre-existing property and changing it. If he was doing this to actual Star Wars,
it'd be different.
Star Wars would be biting his these fans rabid, bro, tearing him apart like crazy. Mm-hmm. But because this is an original idea from his head, that I am guessing he even said that he thought about this way back when he was still in filming school. Yeah, that he was trying to pitch this for a while. That he pitched it to WB 15 times and they passed on it every time. So this is an original idea, but people are still taking that and being like, oh look, Zack Snyder again, back at it. He don't know how to make a movie without thinking that it's all about boom, sex, fuck, this, that, whatever. It's frustrating. I don't think it's gonna hurt the movie because it is gonna be on Netflix. I do believe you're gonna have people that are gonna watch it because they love it, and then you're gonna have people hate watching it. Yeah. Basically, hate fucking this movie.
Basically, it is two different things. Say what you will about him and his Superman. Just not around me because I will defend. But most people decide to take that as a darker take. Whatever. If it was Star Wars, if it was actually Star Wars, then yeah, for sure. Different case. Tie him up, do so on and so forth, whatever. But yeah, it's an original concept. So he can do whatever the fuck he wants. If it's his idea. Mm-hmm. He's basing it off of Star Wars. And I think that's just some more. We know what we're getting into. It's sci-fi. We know Star Wars is sci-fi and all that other stuff. I don't know. People just really like to get mad at this man for no reason. He's unproblematic, whatever. So they'll poke fun at his art, which is fine. Have your opinion about art, but eventually there's gonna come a time to be okay, maybe he is cooking.
Put some respect on his name. Yeah, otherwise you're just a hater.
Exactly.
That's like saying LeBron's not good.
Yeah. Well, he has stats to prove he's good. Yeah. Now, if you're comparing, I guess in that case, LeBron to Michael, that's a whole other thing. People like to compare him to James Gunn and so on and so forth, like we just did. But
you can't compare because things are going to look like shit to other things. You got to understand. And I think this comes down to that whole flavor thing that we talked about a few episodes ago, too. If it's not your flavor, why do you guys eat it? Why do you give two fucks about his dream if you already don't like his stuff? Yeah, that's my thing. It's not even it's so weird because it's just him though. It's him. He comes out all optimistic. He's ready. He speaks about it. I know I've seen people that were at that premiere at Gamescom Rebel Moon who I've seen extensively shit on this man, and they're over there excited for Rebel Moon. They're over there giving him hugs and doing all this stuff, and I get it that he ruined your guys' DC. That's fine. Whatever. If that really is the big beef, that's cool. But then you have people that shit on him and use, his daughter, and they say other things, and it's damn fuck. It's a movie. It's a movie. When Army of the Dead came out, it still followed him there. Now, granted, I feel like that one kind of just came and went fleetingly, but I think that's because Zack Snyder kind of hyped it up to be a whole universe, and he kind of just let it go. I thought that was gonna happen, be a little bit more down the road before we even got to Rebel Moon.
Yeah. I think he's just having a tough time getting the animated part because a lot of animation places don't take it, and if he wants a specific style, only a few places take that style. But that's a whole other topic. I don't know. I think honestly, it's unwarranted beef. I feel to just be oh, he doesn't know how to do anything. And it's bro, it's his OG dream. How do you know he doesn't know how to do anything to his dream? You know what I'm saying? That narrative just bothers me. And I'm glad I haven't seen any of that because I'm only on the positive side of Zack Snyder stuff. I think I only follow a few people who are genuinely negative about him. But
I like being on all sides. All sides.
I don't really care for the other side. But It's more of just like okay, hype up his projects. That's what a fan should do. There should be no one out there banking on a career shitting on people and their dreams, because at that point you're built on nothing.
No, correct. But we can't call them out when they do wrong, and that's the thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
because I can say that whole
moon.
Army of the Dead thing, that's a wrong in my book. You don't start a franchise that you promise people and then move on to your next one with Rebel Moon. Though I am excited for Rebel Moon, I will say he really fumbled the bag with Army of the Dead.
Well, I'm sure he's coming back around to that.
And I don't know if that was too because of the whole issue with Christy D'Elia too. That would probably made me be like, well, fuck, dude. Like, why? It's gonna be kind of hard to just go straight back to that.
Yeah, scandals are not like that. That would make you take a hit for sure.
Yeah, so that's
especially the way he was bad mouthing the movie and everything. Like, even with his following, like you would expect, like,
and
that'd be turned negative.
Yeah, and after he wound up getting found unguilty, like they were like, well, you guys still cut him out of the whole movie and blah blah blah, and they were like, he was over there. I know D'Elia was over there perpetrating, saying that that they didn't even like let him know. They just kind of dropped them and redid it again and whatever and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, you're going through some heavy shit.
Yeah, bro.
I do feel for the whole taking him out of every scene thing. That shit was crazy. Zack Snyder did it beautifully. Don't get me wrong. If somebody's up for the job, it's him. But it's still crazy.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, again, that's just with any scandal. Granted, he was in tough shit because, like I told you, literally before that role, he played a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, like imagine that shit. You're playing a pedophile, and then there's scandals of you coming out as a pedophile. Like that is a double, like fucking, that's a double barrel shotgun aimed at you and whatever project you're at.
That shit just aimed right at him.
Like, yeah, no, that is coming for the movie's neck and everything. So what is the best way to avoid that? We got to cut him out entirely. Granted, yeah, don't tell him or nothing. That's bad on Netflix's part and so on. But again, that's business. So if in his contract it says, hey, if you were in a scandal or if you did some shit, we have the right to cut you. Yeah. He signed those papers.
No, yeah.
And then, like, at that point, they don't have to tell him because he signed those papers, depending on what he did or not. Yeah. And yeah, he came out on guilty or whatever. And I mean, by then it was too late to put him back in. But honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't really care that he wasn't in it. His acting is kind of it to me, so it doesn't even matter really. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. Shitting on those kind of things is just dumb because he's not adapting Star Wars in the slightest. He's taking a concept
his new concept
and birthing something else with it.
I'm excited for it. Excited for Rebel Moon. If you guys are the ones that shit on him for no reason, please stop it.
And like people are like,
get some help.
And people are like, oh, but Star Wars isn't adult enough or so on and so forth. They're like, Star Wars is made for kids, whatever. You should be looking forward to this then. Like an original idea that takes your Star Wars
and puts it on acid.
Yeah, and does something else with it, makes it adult. Like, that should be a giant thing for people to want to go watch. But no, it's turning you off because Zack Snyder did it. It shouldn't matter because you were into the idea before that.
Nothing's gonna make Star Wars fans happy until it goes back to George Lucas. It was that biggest fumble that he sold it to Disney.
Even then, George Lucas apparently is a bad guy too. Yeah. I was on
that's a whole another can of worms, though.
I guess so.
That's a big double extra thing. But moving on, though, one more topic for you guys today. Now, if you guys haven't heard our Saturday episode, it is up right now. Go check it out. We talk about Ahsoka. If you guys haven't watched the first 2 episodes, if you guys are planning to watch them, go watch them. Go listen to Saturday's episode. I guess this is a continuation of that. That's what I'm saying. If you guys aren't caught up, go listen to the old episodes. You have to, so you guys can be in the conversation with us. Yeah. So one of the questions that I had talked to you about on that episode, Josh, was who is behind the Night Mask? Now, something popped up on my feed, and shout out to Screen Rant because I never really thought about it before, and I don't think they were the first person either. I don't know who put up that theory, but Screen Rant just kind of made it blatantly apparent for me, whatever the fuck the word is, that a theory floating around is that Ezra Bridger could potentially be the one behind the mask and be that Inquisitor. Yay or nay? First of all, what do we feel about that theory?
That doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know. I don't think so. Because at that point, I mean, obviously plot and convenience and stuff, but the Star Wars person I am would tell me that Ahsoka and them would sense him at that point. She could sense Vader and Anakin. but she can't sense a friend that she was kind of with for a couple of years.
She didn't sense him until the mask fell off.
Well, no. There's the scenes on the ship where she's like, oh, he feels familiar or whatever. I could have sworn in Rebel she was like that.
Yeah, but she didn't know it was Anakin until the mask fell
Oh, well,
off.
yeah. I mean, that confirms it. But she had the feeling.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I imagine she would have kind of facing off with him. They would have made it apparent. Like, oh, he feels familiar or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it revealed
Too on the nose.
I don't think this is it. I don't think so.
Too far-fetched for you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little bit more far-fetched than Starkiller, I guess. Like, that's a little weird.
Farther fetched than Starkiller? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't think so. I think this is out of pocket.
So you would believe it's Starkiller before you would believe it's Ezra Bridger?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I think Star Wars
cold take, hot take? I don't know.
I think some Star Wars fans like to blow this out of proportion and think like, oh yeah, this twist would make so much sense. But to be fair, I think Star Wars thought about that twist way before and it was like, that's too obvious. There's no way. If it ends up being Ezra, I'll eat my words. That's fine. But like, I don't see this happening. What is this based on? Why is this?
Well, a lot of people were saying that because him and Thrawn wound up shooting into a different galaxy together, that Thrawn basically was able to have his way with them, basically, and just, turn him to the dark side, torture him to the point where he turned to the dark side, be able to brainwash him and use him as basically like this lapdog. And that, I guess the working theory is that when the way that the two bounty hunters, Balin and the other girl, got paid is because he arrived and basically paid them to break out the girl and go get Thrawn. So that's kind of like the working theory.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, can kind of make sense if you think about it, but Thrawn is not a Force user, so how would he turn him to the dark side? And I know in Rebels, he had that little moment because of this, you can see it in the picture here, but that episode where, that pyramid and everything was happening, he was kind of like being weaved into the dark side because Maul was pushing him at that point too. So I mean, I don't think it's super far-fetched. That whole Starkiller before this theory is kind of crazy because I feel like there is some kind of like sense to be made. But if he can send somebody out, why didn't Thrawn just go out by himself and leave Ezra there?
Exactly.
That's just kind of my thing.
They kind of make it sound like they're trapped in that galaxy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they aren't they not?
Well, that's why.
Ezra sent them out there, so they're stuck out there.
Yeah.
But if that was the case and there was only one way to get back, I would assume they would have done Thrawn himself, unless he thought like, oh, we wouldn't be able to make the trip back, so let's.
Well, yeah, Ezra. I mean, and like just to give like a time frame, depending on when they started building that ship, it would basically have to be around when Thrawn got sent out there. You know, kind of a little bit before the Empire fell, type shit.
Yeah,
because they had a plan for that, or depending on when they show that. It looks like it's getting like almost finished building. So I don't know. I think this one's a little crazy. I don't think so. A
little too far-fetched.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like it's not super far-fetched. I think it's somewhere that could be plausible. I think it'd make for a crazy plot twist, but I think you're right. I think it's too on the nose, and I don't think that they would want to do that. Now, if they do wind up doing it and people found it out so easily, it's kind of like what happened with WandaVision, where they were like, oh, who did it, and you already know who did. Same thing, Falcon and Winter Soldier, whatever. I hope that's not the case, because
I think Filoni saw that and was like, that's too obvious. There's no way.
We could do something a little bit better.
Yeah. And I mean, people, I think I saw that they gave credit to the Starkiller actor for voice work. So I think
Sam Witwer?
Yeah.
They did?
They thought so. I think someone pointed that out, that he gave his voice to that guy. So I'm assuming somewhere down the line he's going to speak, and it's not going to be him.
You think Sam Witwer's revoicing another role?
Probably. I mean, if he's not showing his face, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking this theory's debunked, according to Screen Rant, that they wound up putting a name out saying that it was... The name of the Inquisitor is Merrick. Yeah. So, and I guess Merrick was an Inquisitor that worked under Darth Vader. So, how could he have survived all these years, even past A New Hope? Because supposedly all the Inquisitors died out before A New Hope. So, how was he able to go all the way through and through as an Inquisitor, all the way to where they are now, bridging the OG trilogy to the sequel trilogy, it's like, well, that to me seems a lot more far-fetched than the whole Ezra Bridger. And the Ezra Bridger seems a little bit closer to home than Starkiller, so I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So.
I find the Ezra Bridger one to be an intriguing one. I can't completely rule it out because it makes sense in my head if they play it out in some sort of way that way. I just feel like it's just too on the money.
If that's why, like, if they play it out and it's too fucking obvious, I would feel so robbed. You have no idea, because I'd be like, they could have done so much more. They could have actually like hit me with different expectations and have it be Starkiller. You know what I mean? Than it be Ezra. But yeah, no, I don't think his connection to Kanan and things like that would be that severed by Thrawn. There's no way. I don't think so. And then, like, sure, Maul was pushing him in that direction, but that's because of the temple they were in and things like that. Like, that's kind of what the dark side of those dark side things are meant to do. They're meant to draw out that side of you. It takes the Force and all that to bring it out. Mm-hmm. And then I think he basically stopped like after all that. So it just brings out the worst in you, and it's not, and like eventually you'll go back to normal. But I don't think, I think it's just far-fetched.
You're just hangry. Eat a Snickers.
There's no way.
Eat a Snickers, Ezra. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, plausible, not off the table, but I will hold on to that theory for sure. If you think that is too far-fetched, I get it, but you know, I think it could probably happen for sure. But with that, what do you guys think out there? If you guys watched Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2, do you guys think Ezra Bridger can be hiding underneath that mask? Do you think, why didn't they just send Thrawn out? Hey,
yeah.
Let us know at our handles if there's a topic that you guys want us to talk about. Is there a movie that you guys want us to review? If you guys want to support us in a big way, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Listen to our episodes anywhere you get your podcasts. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, things of that nature. Check us out there. Subscribe to our Buzzsprout. Links are in those bios of the socials I just gave you. Special perks to those who do subscribe, and shout outs on episodes. And when it's all said and done, subscribe to our YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And as always, you can go check out our older episodes right now. Catch up with us, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.